political analyst Uche Igwe, who is a visiting fellow at the Firoz Lajdi Institute for Africa at the London School of Economics, and joins us now from Abuja. Welcome to you. Nigeria is now the second most corrupt country in West Africa, according to Transparency International. How does that affect daily life?
I think that it has direct implication on poverty. And as you know, that Nigeria has also been named as the world capital of poverty. What it says is that clearly resources that would have used to develop infrastructure, resources that would have used to pursue national prosperity, resources that would have used to alleviate poverty might have been diverted by the political elite, leading to deepening poverty. That is very disturbing, but that is the situation. Also, there have been linkages between corruption, poverty, and conflict. Essentially, what it means is that part of the population, especially the young people who are directly impacted by the implications of corruption and poverty, are essentially angry, and it takes very little to trigger conflict amongst angry people. So generally very disturbing, and today is an opportunity to reflect on these issues and chart a course forward, not only for Nigeria, but also for the continent of Africa.
And thanks for pointing out that link between poverty, corruption, and conflict. That's not one that is easily made. But do you think, you mentioned, of course, the UN, do you think the UN and governments have the tools to help reduce corruption? Not remove it. I don't think it's possible to get rid of it, but to lessen it.
Yes, I think that the tools are available. And again, there is a contextual implication of corruption. Every corruption has got a contextual face. So corruption in Nigeria, for instance, will be affected by cultural issues, local political issues, and all of that. While the United Nations and other international organizations have done well in setting the framework, especially globally. But again, there is no one size fits all in terms of corruption. It was important to make suggestions, but again, some of these suggestions cannot become prescriptions that can be imposed successfully in different contexts at the same time. So every corruption reflects the context, and every suggestion on anti-corruption must be such that can be tweaked and formulated to reflect the contextual realities in the country. So yes, international dimensions of fighting corruption is very useful to raise the global political will, but again, it is important to look locally to find remedies that are aligned to contextual realities.
And a quick question before I let you go. When we celebrate this year, this date again next year, the date for corruption, do you think Nigeria would have changed its position on the international ranking, as you said, the world's hub for corruption?
Well, I am going to be optimistic. I have just stepped out of the meeting where a conversation is going on. Nigeria has a national anti-corruption strategy that has sought to coordinate the efforts. And in that conversation, there is a renewed emphasis on prevention of corruption rather than waiting for corruption to happen for enforcement and prosecution. So I think that if Nigerian government can refocus their efforts in preventing corruption before it happens by conducting comprehensive system studies and conducting comprehensive corruption risk assessment programs, I think that will help in trying to ensure that maybe by this time next year, the rankings would have been affected, corruption would have been reduced, and eventually poverty and conflict would have been impacted.
Uche Igwe, thank you so much for speaking to us today on the News Hour. We appreciate it. Thank you.